Assalamu alaikum and good evening. You are watching Humsab TV and I am Muneeb Hamid with the news.
4 Pakistan Army soldiers martyred by cross-border mortar shelling in Azad, Jammu Kashmir. 4 Pakistani Army soldiers were martyred by shelling across the line of control in Azad, Jammu and Kashmir's Jandrot sector on Monday, according to a statement issued by Inter-Services Public Relations. The Army's media wing said that the troops were busy with maintenance of a communication line when they were fired upon and hit by heavy mortar rounds. The ISPR said 3 Indian soldiers were killed and a few injured in an exchange of fire. The latest incident of cross-border firing comes days after Indian Army Chief General Bipin Rawat threatened to call Pakistan's nuclear bluff in a statement regarded as reckless and irresponsible by Pakistani leadership. According to the Foreign Office, Indian forces have committed more than 70 ceasefire violations along the LOC and working boundary in 2018, in which at least 1 civilian has died and 5 people have been injured. Ceasefire violations are a frequent feature along the LOC and working boundary, despite the leadership of Pakistan Rangers and India's border security forces agreeing in November 2017 that the spirit of the 2003 ceasefire agreement must be revived to protect innocent lives. Some forces trying to sabotage Senate elections essen. The ruling Pakistan Muslim League Nawaz seems to be upset over losing its government in Balochistan and has expressed doubts over the holding of Senate elections according to schedule in March. On Sunday, a senior cabinet member of Prime Minister Shahid Khaqan Abbas's government said no one was sure if the Senate elections would be held on time. Talking to the media, Interior Minister Ahsan Iqbal asked journalists how certain they were that the Senate elections would be held on time. He expressed apprehensions over political developments taking place in Balochistan and said that some elements were trying to sabotage the Senate elections. If an assembly is dissolved, it will not be good for the federation. The world will say democracy cannot function here, said Mr. Iqbal, adding that the election should be held on time as it was a constitutional requirement. NAB files review petition on Supreme Court's rejection of reopening Hudaybiyah case. The National Accountability Bureau on Monday filed before the Supreme Court a review petition on the Hudaybiyah paper mills case. On December 15, a 3-judge bench of the Apex Court had rejected the Bureau's appeal to reopen the Rs 1.2 billion Hudaybiyah paper mills reference, challenging the 2014 order of the Lahore High Court to quash the reference. The Supreme Court's detailed order on its decision to reject NAB's appeal stated that the case had been dismissed as the reference had exceeded its expiry date and that the matter had died its death while it was being dragged through various courts for years. The 40-page appeal was prepared by NAB's special prosecutor Imranul Haq. The NAB has challenged, among other points of the detailed order, paragraph 23, which states that former Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif and his brother, Chief Minister Shehbaz Sharif, was subjected to intensive investigation and by those who would be considered inimical to them. Islamabad High Court again bars ECP from taking action against Imran Khan. The Islamabad High Court once again issued a stay order to Election Commission of Pakistan, barring it from taking action on notices against Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf chairman Imran Khan for allegedly flouting election code of conduct. The ECP had taken notice against Khan for addressing public gatherings and campaigning in different constituencies, even after the announcement of by-election in those areas. Babar Rawan represented Khan in court on Monday and said that politicians who are public office holders are not allowed to participate in election campaigns under Article 260. But Khan is not a public office holder. He is only a representative of the public and thus he cannot be kept from participating in election campaigns, Awan said. While presenting his arguments to the court, Awan also said that ECP notices that are sent out after an election has taken place are not effective. Lahore stands to gain 5 more provincial assembly seats. Lahore, the capital of the largest province in the country, will get 5 more provincial assembly seats after the fresh demarcation of constituencies, raising its rally from 20 to 25, an analysis of census data reveals. This is in addition to an extra National Assembly seat which the provincial metropolis has earned by virtue of its 11.1 strong population. The share of seats is calculated by dividing the 110 million residents of the province by the 297 seats in the Punjab Assembly, which yields a per-seat ratio of 370,412 people. The capital of Punjab has a share of 30.03, meaning it will get 5 additional provincial assembly seats in the new delimitation scheme. Indeed, demographic changes are set to alter the political landscape across the country, with provincial assembly seats increasing and decreasing across most districts in all the 4 provinces, in line with the provisional census results. Other districts of Punjab that will get more provincial assembly seats include Rawalpindi and the southern Punjab districts of Muzaffargarh, Dera Ghazi Khan and Rajanpur. Pakistan Interfaith League and the United Council of Churches of Islamabad unanimously approved a resolution to give high accolade to Pakistan Army. A meeting of the Christian leaders was convened and chaired by Sajid Ishaq, Chairman Pakistan Interfaith League, on Sunday, December 31st, 2017. The participants included the executive members of Pakistan Interfaith League, National Baptist Church of Pakistan, and United Council of Churches of Islamabad. Pakistan Interfaith League and the United Council of Churches of Islamabad unanimously approved a resolution to give high accolade to Pakistan Army for maintaining peace and safeguarding the sovereignty of the holy event of Christmas in 2017. It was also greatly admired that the Chief of Army Staff, General Qamar Javed Bajwa, himself attended Christmas Mass in one of the churches of Rawalpindi, while the Corps commanders attended Christmas Mass in various other churches. The executive members also applauded the tireless efforts of the Pakistan Army Jawans, who provided protection to churches and made it possible for Christian families to safely celebrate the Christmas Day. This commendable gesture by the Pakistan Army has not only given confidence and a sense of security to the Christian community, but has also demonstrated the true significance of interfaith harmony. Pakistan Interfaith League hopes that this admirable act on part of Pakistan Army will pave the way for an environment where citizens of Pakistan, irrespective of their caste, creed, religious beliefs and provincial divides, stand up for the protection of the rights of their fellow citizens whenever the need arises. In the end, it was pledged that the Christians of Pakistan will extend their sincere support, loyalty and honesty for upholding the honor of the country and leave no stone unturned till their last breath for maintaining peace and interfaith harmony alongside the Pakistan Army. Trump's peace efforts, the slap of the century, says Palestinian President. Palestinian leader Mahmoud Abbas denounced US President Donald Trump's peace efforts as the slap of the century at a key meeting on Sunday on the White House declaration of Jerusalem as Israel's capital. In a wide-ranging 2-hour speech, Abbas reiterated that he would not accept the Trump administration as a mediator in peace talks with Israel and called for an internationally led process. He also accused Israel through its actions of ending the 1994 Oslo Peace Accords that form the basis of Palestinian ties with the Jewish state, saying the Palestinians would study all strategies for responding to it. Beyond that, Abbas attacked the U.S. ambassadors to Israel and the United Nations, David Friedman and Nikki Haley, calling them a disgrace. Both Trump appointees have been strong supporters of Israel, with Friedman having backed Jewish settlements in the occupied West Bank. 26 killed in Baghdad twin suicide blast, officials say. A double suicide bombing killed 26 people in Baghdad on Monday, officials said, the second such attack in the Iraqi capital in 3 days. Dr. Abdel Ghani Al-Sadi, health chief for East Baghdad, reported 26 dead and 90 wounded. 2 suicide bombers blew themselves up in Tayyara Square in central Baghdad, said General Saad Maan, spokesman for the Joint Operations Command, which includes the army and the police. Pakistan cannot be forced to compromise on national interest, US historian says. Pakistan cannot be bludgeoned into taking steps it believes dangerous to its security, even if it means losing the US aid, argues a new book on Pakistan-US relations. The book, The Leverage Paradox, Pakistan and the United States, by Robert Hathaway, a prominent U.S. scholar of South Asian affairs, traces the history of bilateral relations from the early 1950s to the Trump era, concluding that both nations benefited from this relationship. There is little in the historical record to support the contention that Pakistan can be bludgeoned into taking steps it believes dangerous to its security. To the contrary, repeated U.S. attempts to condition its aid to Pakistani behavior failed to induce the better behavior Washington had hoped for. Mr. Hathaway writes, he demonstrates how efforts to coerce Pakistan merely reinforced Islamabad's belief that its putative friends sought only to advance a U.S. agenda at odds with Pakistan's security. The book argues that Pakistan has always viewed the benefits that flow from American favor as prizes worth working to acquire, but not at any price. Bill Gates announces aid bump for Pakistan. Days after the Trump administration announced it was suspending security assistance to the country, a billionaire philanthropist has committed that his Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation will increase financial aid for Pakistan. In a letter to Minister for National Health Services Saira Afzal Tarer, Mr. Gates praised the government's commitment to the eradication of polio. The Microsoft founder also acknowledges the receipt of certain concept notes regarding innovations in the health sector, especially with regards to strengthening mother and child care with reproductive health, which he said were being analyzed by a team of experts. The letter also suggests that Director General of Health Dr. Asad Hafiz be nominated as the contact point between the ministry and the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. And now the weather forecast for the next 24 hours. Mainly cold and dry weather is expected in most parts of the country.
That's all for now. For more news and updates, keep watching Hums Up TV. Take care. Please subscribe to Hums Up TV and hit the notification icon on the screen to get the latest updates of our channel. Thank you for watching Hums Up TV.